Jeff, and I live in Erwin. The main thing was humidity. It was, I bought a smart thermostat. I never knew what the humidity was, in the house until I bought that thermostat. And then it's like in the summer, we've only been here, April makes 2 years. So the first summer, I had to keep the air at around 72 or 73 just to stay comfortable without sweating. And I'm like, that's just wrong. The electric bills were like $350, and I was like, something's not right. And I started looking. It was very humid all the time, no matter what. Once the air kicked off, for that few minutes it would stop. Humid, just crazy humid, and then kick back on, and it'd go back down. But it was the electric bills and the constant being uncomfortable was just more than I could take, and then fall came and it got a little cooler, and and the humidity was up around 70% all the time, even in the summer, whenever I had the AC set to 72. It just wouldn't come down. When I bought the house, the inspector, he went out of the house and he was telling me it was very dry under there, didn't see any mold or mildew, he said it looked great, for this age of a house. But then the first guy that came out to give me a quote, he went under there and said it was wet. Yeah, right, okay. It's not wet because the dude just told me it wasn't. And then your guy come out and he said, yeah, it's wet under there. And I'm like, well, there's nothing. It's not been wet in 50 years. It's not been that wet under this house. Why all of a sudden is it wet? And, of course he couldn't explain that. Who knows why? But one of the reasons I think it had gotten so wet is the owners of this house, just before they moved, they put in a brand new AC system. And so it's got it's all one unit, so it's all outside. The air handler, everything's outside. And it's plumbed into the side of the house. And it, under the house, it sits on the ground. And, that, from what I've been told, is the only thing that has physically changed in this house was adding that AC unit. And it may have been so more powerful than the other one was that it's pulling the moisture out of the air. And I had water in my vents. I took the vent covers off. I had water in my vents where it had condensed and was inside my vents and had dripped all over the floor. I did a lot of research on this before I started doing anything. So I had all the answers that I needed before I called anybody. And so, it's kind of like I was they were here to, sell me something, but then I would interview them and with the, what I knew to see if they knew what they were talking about. And he did. He, I asked him questions and he answered them just like that, without hesitation. And my wife really liked him, said the other ones, I had one guy that, he gave me a quote over the phone. He pulled up my house, the plans, and saw the size of the crawl space and said it'll be this much money. The first guy came in and he was all about air quality first. Air quality is a great thing. That wasn't my main concern, but it was his. And it was, okay, that's your main concern, but how about addressing mine? And waste of time. He went out of the house, he gave me a quote. He did a blower door test, which, come to find out later, there's two ways of doing a blower door test, the right way and the wrong way. And he did the wrong way, and it was just a waste. And then the other guy was, they were B-Dry, which is, there was a closest to me going with them than I was anybody else other than you guys, because they seemed very sincere. They knew what they were talking about. They just didn't offer the products that you guys had. You know, the mat on the ground first, and then the layer of the film, and then the stuff on the sides, and you know, all that. They didn't offer the dehumidifier. They didn't offer the sump pump. You know, the pump, and they were just a little bit less than you with all that they would have had to have added later. You know, so it's really a no-brainer. And then when he was sitting here, he got me like 10,000 and some change. Oh no, yeah. And I said, I really wanted to be under 10, and he got me to 99. I said, done. It's sold. You know, that was he was just a really good guy, and he did what he's supposed to do. I've only had mine for a month as of this point, but the benefits that I've seen so far are worth every dime, because the temperature stays. When I get up in the morning, if it's 65 in here, it stays 65 all day long. I don't have to run any air. I don't have to run any heat. The only time I've ever even had to run heat is when it got down, like in the teens. It's just that stabilized. It's the air that's so stabilized under there that it's keeping the rest of the house just like it is right now. There's been no air or heat on in here right now. I don't think it's cold. Do you think it's cold? You know, it's well worth the money, and it's not. It is a pretty good expense, but when I'm breathing better. I don't smell mildew. There's, you know, the mold my vent covers actually had mold on, where the moisture had come up and they were black, and you know, I don't smell that. I don't smell that. I had certain rooms that you could walk in and be like, oh, it's just awful. I don't smell that anymore. The dehumidifier they put under there took about a week. He said it'd only take a couple of days before it would, you know, start bringing it down in the house, but it took about a week. And because I got it on my phone, my app on my phone, I can look at it, you know, and it's like I'd watch it and be like, oh crap, it ain't gone down, you know. And the next day, oh, it ain't gone down. Then all of a sudden it just went bam, and it went from 72 the day they left down to like 48%, and it's like, wow, that's perfect. You know, that's what I want. That's what I want. So, and you know, last year it was like 130, but I had a $100 gas bill. Now I got a $90 bill and a $30 gas bill. So it's already, you know, I can't wait for summer so I can see what it's going to do. And the guys that were here, they did excellent work, very respectful. No issues at all with them at all. You know, any questions I had, you know, the foreman, I guess you would call him, was happy to stop what he was doing and answer our questions, which I try not to bother him too much because, you know, I know he had to get out of the house. And, you know, it's just, it was a really good experience.